This conference will now be recorded.
So we'll call the meeting to order and stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, as we gather this day to perform business for the people of the village of Owego, grant us wisdom, compassion, and understanding. Amen.
Amen. All right, first item as usual, public comment.
Just the tourists.
The tourists, all right.
Can I just say that those new signs for the parking lots are beyond ugly? Did the same people who designed that design the new Riverhawk logo?
Probably.
They look like something that should be in a mall,
Yeah, they are kind of malls.
not a parking lot. Don't show Owego as being historic at all.
Yeah, that's a new logo. It feels like a computer. 21st century. Yeah.
The Pringles guy?
Yeah, we did. All right, so any public comment besides the ugly sides? Anybody else? All right, get on with it. Don't mind me. Survive. Department head reports. Paul?
My apologies for missing the last meeting. It's been a little bit since the report. There's a bunch of items. We finished up the football game. We covered for the Candor banquet, Candor EMS banquet. They covered for ours. 2 providers, aka EMTs, paperwork were sent to New York State for recertification for processing. Agency recertification, narcotics recertification were sent to New York State for processing. We attended the county EMS leadership meeting, and the county's gonna get a countywide first response authorization. 3 of the fire coordinators are EMTs. Not sure what they're gonna do with that, but they're gonna have their own agency code for that. You guys have the October and November call listings that were handed out. We also covered the EMS aspect for Lights on the River and some meetings regarding iGels for BLS. 2 of the ambulances are in service. 1 is out of service. They're still having trouble with the transmission computer. That's bad. They're having trouble getting a new one. A couple things that I don't have on the list. They still don't have authorization to order keys, other than I did get keys from that individual over the weekend for our new members.
Okay.
I don't have that authorization. And the LoSAP for EMS, I plan on getting it on the agenda for January 2nd for the March 19th village board election. So, like I mentioned to Rusty before the meeting, if there's any questions or any of that, I haven't heard anything other than the comment to keep it on the same day as the village elections. So that's all I have.
What did you just say? You can or can't have it?
You can.
You
should.
can. That's,
We should, if we can.
yes,
Would it be part of the ballot?
It would, yeah.
yes.
I don't have 2 days.
Right.
And, I handed out another thing that was, the interesting letter to the editor that was printed off from the penny saver for your reading pleasures. Doesn't really have to be talked about here, but just thought I would. he stole all your stuff, cause I left you a copy. Any questions for me?
I do. We're working on the hazard mitigation plan update, and is there anything that, you know, emergency wise, that your department could we have a conversation another time about what you could use?
Yes,
What your plan?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that would be fine.
okay. We'll pass our emails.
Okay,
Okay.
Is, Laura, excuse me, is there a date set for the next meeting?
We don't have a date yet, so we are waiting for the county to release their plant update. And then we'll have our section out of that to work with based off of that plan, because everything has to go together. And so theirs is pushed back about a month or so. And so we're sort of accordingly scooching back. So there's time to get in some more information about what we want. So anything we can get in this plan, if further out along grants are available, we'll have a better opportunity of getting them, because we were designated Cedars community.
okay,
So they'd be grants with like 90 to 95% government back or paying for it. And then the technical ones are somewhat 100% lately.
I just need to know what you're looking for and I can
So
help you out.
it's anything that would assist emergency responses when there's an event. And what your department would need also, like to save its trucks, you know, for your responses, your planning, your people, you know, sort of like what you need in staging, even when, for both, like village-wide, what we need in staging to respond,
Okay.
you know, part of that. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to help out.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I am trying to get some more information from the fire department too. So I just wanted to say that before I forget later.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anybody else have anything for EMS? All right, thanks for keeping on. Tell everybody thank you.
I have calls.
Yeah, always a lot of calls for them. Ready?
I'm short and sweet, other than what we've been doing, potholes and 3 months of leaf picking. But now we're on to tree trimming. We started over on East Front by Turtletown, and we're gonna be coming down through the village on East Front Street, trimming all them trees up, taking trees that are bad or gonna be dangerous, taking them out. The 3 trees by Legion will be coming out, the big pin oaks. Eventually at the courthouse, the 3 maples, I'm sorry, the 2 maples at the courthouse, and I talked to Jamie, we're gonna put the dog flower trees that only grow not very tall. Some people want them, some people don't, so make a happy mixture.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm pretty well, other than this flood episode this morning, we were pretty well caught up.
Right. Still going on. So.
Yeah, we closed down, Canalani and a couple other parks we shut down. Riverwalk, yeah, and I can't remember that darn park. The Tierley Park, I've always called it.
Oh, yeah.
What's it called?
Livingston.
Livingston.
That was close. Livingston, whatever the heck it's called. But other than that, we're pretty well caught up, doing well. We started our potholes, just bought a new coal patch, and had crews out last week coal patching. But other than that, we're pretty well caught up, waiting for the snowstorm.
Someday it'll come.
The snow, so.
At least this was all rain, not snow.
Had been what,
Good
200
and bad.
feet of snow?
Yeah.
I'd be out working now,
You
moving all that snow. But that's about it.
I have a question.
Okay, shoot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'll wait.
The lights that shine onto the courthouse, the colorful ones, are they all on?
Yep.
It doesn't seem as bright as it used to.
It's on.
Probably because of color. Here, those are white.
No, yeah, but they used to.
They were, I haven't been down here since Lights on a River. The Lights on a River, all the court, like, are working.
Because it seemed like the left side, you could actually, I would see green by the light.
Well, because they have a tent over those windows, whoever put that on there, I have no idea. Over the lights.
There's red on one side
Yeah.
and green on the other
Yeah.
to light the building.
Right, but they used to look brighter.
Because if you take them off, it would look brighter.
I mean,
You
not
were
like
there for the Lights on the River,
Empire State Building bright, but.
they had those, red, like you saying, red and green
Yeah.
filters on those lights.
Right.
I don't know who put them on, that I can't tell you.
Was there a reason for that?
I didn't even know they were on there until the Lights of the River, until we started messing around
There
with
was
it.
a reason?
Yes, there is a reason.
Okay, go for it.
Well, I have no idea what that is.
Oh.
Santa Claus.
There's a reason for everything.
I don't know, but if you took them off, it would look a lot brighter. I have no idea why.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
just curious. I thought it was my eyes, you know, I'm getting older.
It's probably because the lights on the bridge are so bright this year. That could be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could be
All
that.
those
they are a lot brighter.
They are.
So I think there was like a dozen of them that we ordered new bulbs, but they're very expensive.
For the snowflakes?
Yeah, for the snowflakes, because we were 4 short. And there were some good LED clear lights, which made it. And right now, wait for Rick to get back, because we have a short on the west side.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Before
those
he
are-
went on vacation, there was 5 out on the east side that he fixed, that was short. Now a snowflake and a bulb is out.
Well, they are snowflakes, and that's supposed to look alike.
They don't look alike.
They're all different.
Yeah, they are. They're all different. But that's another, sometime down the road.
But,
Yes, sir, ma'am.
that's okay. I was wondering, you're talking about the, taking down the trees. Is that tree by the caretaker's cottage in the cemetery? Is that?
That's gonna be a
Take it out.
different situation. That's something that, I don't know, whoever wants to look at, but that was what you guys had before I came with John, and I would never hire him again, but the trees that he was supposed to take down are what Tony's gonna take down.
Yeah, well, we had intended on using Tony before, and, he was unavailable for several years.
Well, he wasn't, but okay, we'll leave it at that.
Well, we
That's
kept
all right.
trying to get
It's all
hold of
good.
him.
But I'm gonna have Tony do the cemetery.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, yeah, well, the gates to the cemetery are supposed to be locked up from January 1st to mid-March.
It's locked up now.
It shouldn't be.
It was locked up now because of the snow that was so bad up there that you couldn't even begin to get up there. And I know a lot of people in the village, and I did it for safety cause. I don't want people up in there and get hurt.
Yeah, if we're not treating the road.
If you're not treating the roads and put money and salt on something that it shouldn't have salt on in the first place right now, then I closed it down and I used my discretion to see about shutting it down.
Okay.
Yep. I didn't want somebody to get hurt. And those roads were nasty up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably had those couple.
yeah, there's a.
Slippery days.
Then that's when I
bad
shut it
shape
down.
there, bad
And
shape.
then, I only one I left there was Neil Lewis and Justin, what the heck is your last name? Anyway, that was working on the Evans's site,
Hustling.
Houselander, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And I didn't let nobody up there today because of the flooding.
Oh, yeah.
Rusty?
I don't know if this is the right time, once again, don't want to belabor something, and it's not your job, but we need to be aware of, if we're not, that when we had a large rain called a semi-deluge, we were always concerned, and it's coming down, not your job. The driveway of the new apartment building across 434, which they closed down today because of that nightmare. Not your job.
So do you know why?
Oh, there's lots of reasons why.
So the crossover pipe for the state Do you know more than that?
Oh,
Don't tell us.
Okay, so
I know that all the drainage isn't adequate up there, I know that, but.
that's very true, but the big problem they had today is when McCluskey filled that all in. Should I say any more? Or?
No, that's not what I'm trying to talk about here now at this, I'm just commenting that
Well, the property
a
owner
problem that
should
we are
be-
worried, a problem that we are worrying about is starting, it's starting.
To show its heels.
And boy, when that thing gets black ice on it, I
And-
can't wait for a school bus to land in the river.
Yeah, that's.
And I went to the DOT's superintendent, Ron, and made sure he knew about that also.
That's enough for me, I just pointed out to the board.
Yeah, that was quite.
Agreed, 100% with you, Rusty.
Well, should we be notifying the owners of the property there as far as that?
I've got documents on it today and pictures.
Right.
So if it does come down to the county and us, I wouldn't advise taking it over.
Well,
Yeah, no, before they
We're not
ever
doing that, let's.
got approval to build up there, we spent a year or so talking about that drainage.
You're gonna have more than
Oh, yeah.
what you want to bargain for to put that right.
When the road was supposed to snake up in. there,
Right.
But it didn't.
And it's an open drain all the way down.
Yeah.
Wow.
And anyway,
Took it all the way down.
That's all it is.
I just,
And there's a creek on the
I
back.
didn't mean for this to be, I didn't mean for this to be a long discussion about that, just wanted everybody to be starting to think about that.
I'm done.
Anybody else, anything DPW? Oh, we don't have anything on the agenda for you, do we?
Nope.
Wow, look at that.
I like it.
Quick one for you. All right, police, heard anything from?
Yes, police. I'll say this in a number of different ways. One of the ways is the lecture I continue to give about us not having any money and where things are going on that, and our obligations, including hundreds of thousands of dollars of COP grants. We have 3 police officers leaving, 1 left last evening, 2 are leaving January 15th. So we are 3 police officers down. We are going to need to hire 3, well, first of all, we need as many police officers as we need, which is far more than we can afford, but we're going to need to hire 3 to fulfill our COPS grant. And when we don't, if and when we don't do that, we have to pay back every nickel they've given us. So we have to do that. The chief has already interviewed, and it's very difficult to find anybody. He's interviewed 3 or 4 people. It doesn't mean that we have 3 or 4 potentials, but he will talk to us about that. And between now and the next meeting, to tell you where he's exactly at in that process and what he'd like. That's pretty much it. Of course, other than tonight's flooding, was also kind of a police matter. And originally that was thought to be 25-foot crest and a 20-foot 6 crest. The last this afternoon was a 31-foot crest. It appears that is gone. That was going to be at 3 or 4 this morning. Apparently that's gone down. Freddie probably hasn't.
30.
30 is now.
By 4 o'clock.
So now it's down to 30, which is good. I have the figures of our last 6 floods and where they went, and what they did, and what the crests were on that. In 2006 and 11, they were 36 and 39, somewhere in that area. We had a 32 and a 33 in the 90s. They made some trouble, but they did not. So they might have gone to Kanawha, they might have gone to the fairgrounds, but they did not come into the neighborhoods, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the flood
Right.
story
We're
for
in
the
the Deer
police.
Lake Park right now.
A couple of years ago at Christmas was 31 feet.
Yeah, and that was getting closer to trouble.
That's moderate.
It's 30.3,
33 is the,
That's what it should be.
30.3.
13.3 is the estimation.
Yes,
of
what the rest
what's
of
gonna
it
cost
is,
that.
yeah.
And it seems
30.03, right?
30.03.
That was the last I saw.
Yeah, that's what they said.
30 and a third.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
31 is moderate, 34 is flood.
Right.
And they can say all that, but we know exactly what it is for us.
Oh, yeah.
We know exactly what they, no, I'm just saying, we know exactly what,
Depending on this part of the village.
I'm just saying, we know exactly what happened in these various years at these various things and where the water is and what it does and when it is
Livingston
turbulent.
starts the first part of the flood.
So we have all that in our brains.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we're
that's it.
thinking it won't come over 17C or Front Street by the nursing home. That's right about 31 feet.
Is that what that is, 31?
At the nursing home, you say,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
very
one low
tough to
spot, and
say.
then,
Close your yard, Peter.
and then a touch of the highway down by the fairgrounds is another.
33
Yeah, let me
when
send
it
it.
comes to the edge of our house.
Yeah.
What's that, Pete?
It's 33 when
33?
it comes to the edge of our
He's
foundation.
right next to the nursery.
Yeah.
Right there.
Cause we talked to Sam over the nursing
Well, we
home.
had that pipe from, Brick Pond comes right by him.
So that's another, I just said that in police, because that's another piece of when do we need to, when do we, of course, it's not our piece, but do we need to evacuate? And of course, it doesn't have to be on the road. If it's in their basement where their furnace and their food is, then we evacuate again. So that's a police thing, but we'll see how that plays.
We had a couple houses, Turtle Town, that had water in their basement.
Yeah,
today.
probably.
Other than that, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
It's just not say, let's say it's over with.
it's not crested yet.
Mountain Road was pretty bad this morning.
Yeah, probably running.
It was pouring. I mean, it was a river.
I heard the underpass was.
Well, that's because they never called us in. The state went up there and they never pulled the manhole to divert it to Erie Street. So nothing on Prospect Street took any water until we got there at 7, a little after 7, and then we diverted the water from the underpass to Prospect Street. We filled that pond up, retention pond, in about 20 minutes. Thank goodness it held and let it go down itself a little bit. But that helped out a lot.
Anything else?
There's gonna be some more things come pretty quick here on the 1st of January, but I don't have it today.
Let's see, so we did police, fire?
There's nothing to report on fire.
Yeah, I just talked to Jimmy, although not about the board meeting, but yeah. They are playing with their boats out there. Clerk's office?
Yep. So the last, we've been talking about going out for a bond for the DRI project. So everybody's got a copy. We did all this in a week. I don't know how we did it, but this was our bond council in New York City. They've done it for us before, so we had to fill out 30 pages of paperwork. They have a resolution for us to borrow $3,200,000. And when we get that, we'll put it in an interest-bearing account until we need it. And we have the option to pay it back whenever we want to. So we expect to pay it back within a year. And we got $4 million. We've already paid $1 million ourselves. So I only took out a $3 million loan. So basically, when the projects come due, we don't have to take out the village because we'll have money here. We just have to cover the interest. So it's an interest. I won't know what that is until after we bond it out and we do a bid test.
Right.
That's why there are no figures on this document. We don't know what.
Right, and the thing is, if we pass it tonight, it'll take, like we can get it going within 30 days, 20 days actually, 30 days, which would be good. We'll have a bid package and people will bid on it, and we pick a thing, and then, within 30 days, 40 days, we'll have our money, and then we'll just have it sit there when we need it. So you have a resolution, yes, Mr. Floyd?
No, I'm asking the mayor, not you. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Aren't you? Just give me a little help with number kind of things. So we'll get the interest rate. What are we sniffing at?
I'm thinking 4.5, 5.5 maybe, but I don't know the hell.
Somewhere in there. We will, as soon as we have this bond, have this money, we will start paying the interest on it. When we have it, we can put it in the bank and collect our own interest on it.
Right.
And what might we expect from that?
At least 4%.
So basically, if that's working well, we may be able to get that money for almost no interest if it works right for us, which it's not gonna.
Right.
It's gonna cost us a little bit. But
Yeah, a little bit,
Not
but-
as much as we.
Yeah, not 4%.
Right, no, not.
Okay, good.
I think.
Good.
If the state would have given us some money in advance,
Yeah, I
we had
know.
to sit there,
That'd
we
be
would have been
nice.
making money on it. We would have been a money maker.
Very nice. Other grants, they do that, but not this one.
So anyway, I got a resolution, it's gotta be passed by 3/4 of the board.
Interest rate?
No, no, you're voting on to go out for bid for the,
Yeah, well, we're voting on to go out to bid, but.
and accept the bid, you're gonna accept it.
And ex-
Because it costs a lot of money just to get it to this point. We pay a bonding council, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But you only wanna do it once.
Mike, a couple of quick questions. So Rod said that it requires a supermajority. Does it require a potential referendum? Does it require a public hearing? Does it require any of those things?
That's a good question.
Permissive referendum, any kind of referendum?
I don't believe so, hang on.
Nate's on there.
Probably at least a permissive referendum.
Nate's on there,
You
Mike.
have to have a vote of 5 of the 7 members.
Well, that's good because that's not 3/4, 6 of the 7 is 3/4, but that's just math.
But I don't believe it's subject to any permissive.
Well, let's ask Nate. Nate, you hearing this?
Yeah, so if the bonding is for more than 5 years, it would be subject to permissive referendum, but this is just meant as a short-term revenue anticipation note, so I believe it's not subject to permissive referendum,
How about public hearing, Mike? Public hearing?
not to my knowledge.
Thank you.
Just gonna publish a legal notice of estoppel in the paper.
And also, does Nate know this? Is it required 3/4 vote of the board? Rodney is under the impression that we have to have a 3/4.
It says 5 of 7.
It says that.
Yeah, I mean, it should say it right in the bond resolution if it's required by 3/4 majority. If it doesn't say reference it in there, then it wouldn't need it.
Tell me where it is, Rod.
Front page, first page, page 8.
First page, page 8, hold
First
on.
page, right there, your hands up.
A.
First paragraph, A. About halfway through.
Where is this?
Resolution
Where is it?
requires an affirmative of at least 5 to 7 members.
Okay. No, thank you. That's 2/3, that's not 3/4. That was one, when you said 3, I want to make sure we're doing this right. Thank you.
So it's for 5 years, it says 5 years or more. Right?
No, I don't think it says or more.
Section 3, 5 years pursuant to subdivision 89, blah, blah, blah. Probable usefulness of at least 5 years.
I need it for 5 years.
And then later it says that the maximum maturity of the bonds authorized will not exceed 5 years.
The 5 years you're talking about there is the usefulness of the project. The project you're doing is not just a one-shot quickie thing, it's a project that will last 5 years or more. They're saying, that's what that paragraph. Period of usefulness. So when you do something, they're expecting it to last more than 5 years.
Yeah, so the period of usefulness is the theoretical maximum that you could borrow for. But this is a revenue anticipation note, right, Rod? And so you're doing it as a BAN, not a revenue anticipation note.
Less paperwork and less details.
Okay, I thought it was going to be a RAN, not a BAN.
I'm pretty sure they did the VA.
What do those acronyms stand for?
One's a bond anticipation, revenue anticipation.
Okay.
So
Right,
Nate needs
right.
to chime in on is there a potential problem that it's going to be BA instead of RA?
So that is specifically what bond counsel is for. They're the ones who've drafted the resolution. They're the ones who will be signing opinion letters to the lenders who provide the bonds to the municipality. So, I mean, certainly there needs to be clarity as to is it a ban or is it a RAN? And if they've drafted it as a ban, I mean, that's okay by me. Or I just thought it was going to be a RAN, not the ban.
I thought it'd be easier for them to do a RAM, but they said it was easier for them to do a ban. So we decided to do a ban. Less days you have to wait and all that kind of stuff. They're happy with ban. So they the fan was much easier for them to do than a rain.
So is there any penalty for paying it off?
Yeah, we can pay it in advance.
Okay, there's no penalty.
So the assumption would be as the state gives us our money way later than we want,
Right.
so we get 500 grand and we immediately pay off 500 grand of this, the interest stops. That
Right.
second day, minute, month stops immediately, so we're good on that. We're not paying for interest, we have less and less to pay interest. Assume that. And we can do it.
That's basically the highlights. We just,
So that's not on the agenda, right? That's just,
It's not,
we just got it today in the mail. We
Yeah,
didn't
no,
think
that's
we'd get back this quickly. The sooner we can get it, the sooner I can advertise it, and then the sooner we can get it coming into us.
so if somebody wants
and
to.
and who's
do
the,
it,
who is this, the lender? Norton Rose?
That's our bond company.
That's a bond council. I met with them and I met with a couple of people.
So since we, okay.
That's what we.
So we're voting to do it and send it to bid for that's bid. So I don't know what the motion should read. I'm going to make the motion.
It'll probably be as presented, because that's a pretty long resolution.
The motion's on the next page.
Yeah, it is actually on the second page.
Part of the whole thing.
Well, that says at a regular meeting, blah, 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 following resolution is offered. Then the next page is going to be the resolution. On resolution, yes, I see it resolved.
If you make one, I mean, we'll just.
Yeah, I see all the resolves in all the sections. So I'm going to make a motion that we accept the bond resolution as presented. And that's always for further discussion. So if anybody has more, need a second and further discussion.
Right.
So that you're finished?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Bond resolution.
I'll second.
Sorry.
Okay. Any other discussion on this bond resolution motion? My discussion is I wish we didn't have to do it, but
Yeah, got that one.
free money is never free.
Yeah, we knew that right from day one, didn't we? So I know Laura will have some questions, but I just don't know if she's prepared to do this thing at this moment, but to talk to. Are you?
You can say anything you like. I'm okay.
I'm just giving you an opportunity to have the floor. That you always have.
That's okay. I don't have anything to say right now.
All right, shall we vote? Rusty?
Reluctantly state yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Charles? Yes. And yes. You're on one, too.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Wish we didn't have to do that too.
I know, thank you. Wish we could float it ourselves, but that's a lot.
Right now, we're floating $1 million out of our own pockets.
I know.
Reinvested at 5%.
What's that?
Reinvested at 5.5%.
Yeah, right, we'll make some.
I'd love to do that.
Tell the state, hey, guess what?
Get the lady from New York
Gone
Class to come and tell us how to get that 5.5%.
Try.
They're paying 5.5% now.
Yeah, I'll look into anything.
As long as we don't lose it.
Yeah. Gladly
All right.
That was my
do
wish.
it for the next meeting.
All right, so we have a seeker. This has to be a main thing.
DRI seeker, Mike?
Yeah,
Is it all in one?
yes, I don't know much about it, so it must be a main thing.
And what that is basically is that when they started the whole BRI project, they didn't get this one little particular secret to like kick off the whole project, so.
Right, normally we make a determination of who the agency is or whatever.
I think think Nate,
Is that something Nate found for us?
I think so.
I assume so. Yeah. I don't know where he went. Nate, are you still there?
Yep. Sorry, I was
Oh,
Ah.
getting the kid.
Got it all.
children. So I did review the seeker resolution. I'm fine with it. I don't have any issues. I agree with Hunt that everything appears to be type 2 action.
So it's simple. I can't find it, is it in here? Somebody have the resolution? I thought I had it, I can't find it.
Somebody got one hand with you?
Packet.
Something planning for?
No, this was something that Nate, I
Nate
think
found it.
Nate threw this up. Anybody, I know we did this, we sent them out a while back.
I got it.
You got it?
State Department of Quality Act seeker, it's, yep,
Yeah, I sent them out.
I got it now. Okay, so, thanks Nate for finding more stuff. Well, thanks, thanks, yes, and thanks. So the seeker is for the DRI, and it's, I don't know if anybody has it in front of them.
On resolution?
No, this says State Environmental Quality Review Act, which is what seeker is. Type 2 resolution regarding Village of Owego Downtown Revitalization Initiative. And once again, a type 2 seeker is pretty much, we didn't have to do all that. All those yeses and nos and all that stuff. So I'm going to make a motion that we, how do we phrase it?
Approve this seat.
We, just a minute. There used to be a way where you had to say yes or no or all that crap. But we complete or authorize the seeker
As a type 2 action.
as a type 2 action on the DRI project. DRI initiative, some, and that. I can't say it exactly right. Kind of got that?
Yep.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay.
It does have Ron Felton's name on it instead of David.
Oh, okay. Well, we can fix that.
He's voting no.
Very. Oh, yeah, at the back there were lists of people. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, that motion means that
With
with the approved changes.
All right, any discussion on that? Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Yes. Or check by Ron?
Ron, yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Andy? We need to adopt a video conferencing policy so that we can have board members, not just from our board, but other boards, participate virtually.
So Mike,
Which we talked about this a million years ago and never actually did it.
we didn't do it because we did all those, we did certain things way back when.
Right, no, we tweaked it, but we didn't ever adopt it.
Didn't adopt that. This is also for other boards rather than our planning and zoning, et cetera, and not just the village. Is that what you're saying?
It would be any village board, so planning, zoning, OHPC.
Okay. Well, it seems like we had to adopt a bunch of things in order to have it way back when, but,
Yeah, well, we did, but this is the permanent thing
okay.
that will stay until we change it, I guess.
I think it was best because of COVID.
It was at one point.
This is just within town and village of Owego.
This is just within the village of Wheeler.
All right, because section 8 clearly states it has to be linked to the town of Windsor.
Yes, yes, it does.
caught that last week.
Yes, that should be Whitney Point. That shouldn't be Windsor. Good job. See, that's why we need to read these things, which Laura reminds us, and as we need to read things before we just say, oh, yeah.
Well, mine says linked on the Village of Owego website. Maybe they fixed that.
It says what? It says something about the Village of Owego website?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
said
we
Owego.
fixed it already.
Where's that?
Okay.
Where's
It
that?
says Windsor. It says Owego.
It says Owego.
Mine says
Pencil
Owego.
copy again.
And I said,
Yeah,
and
last week.
that's why I said mine says Whitney Point. Everybody says something.
Yeah, you got last week.
Yeah.
Mine just says Village's website, but not which one.
No, there we go. I like that better.
Oh, no, here's the town of Windsor, number 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's corrected to Village of Owego if you'd like to see. We can pass around the new one.
What do you think about the 4 days and the 5 days?
Where's that?
Well,
Give
like,
me a number.
well, just any of us giving notice. We have to give 4 days notice
Yeah.
that we're not going to be in attendance.
Yeah, I read that.
Those things were,
If you're gonna be sick, you gotta get 4 days notice.
if you remember from before, yes, things had to be done. You had to ask if you could not be here. We haven't been following those things line by rule as we've gone along. We haven't followed them the way we're supposed to.
Well, and then, I don't know which.
Where's that?
But it's also
Well,
supposed to be,
It's in
if you're not,
item number 3.
if you're gonna be attending from a remote location, it has to be publicized so that other people can attend with you from that location.
Well, that's
You-
one
you
way.
do 4 business days ahead of the meeting, so that's, we have our meetings on Monday, right? So you would have had to have informed the clerk, that'd be Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So on Tuesday, before the meeting,
Yeah.
we would have had to have known that we're not gonna make it to the meeting, is how this says.
And then it further says if those emergency circumstances, on an emergent basis within 4 days of the meeting, the village clerk will update the board as soon as practicable to include that information and blah, blah, blah. If not practicable, then the board may reschedule a meeting. It says a bunch of more detailed stuff that we haven't been following.
Yeah, I mean, typically, we don't have a lot of people attend remotely besides Ed, who doesn't do it very much.
Well, and Nate,
But Nate's not on our board. The
Yeah.
public or other people can attend remotely no matter what. This applies to us. Yeah. Or the members of OHPC, or the members of the planning board, zoning board.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna be on vacation, out of state or something like that, you need at least 4 days.
Right.
Business days to the clerk, letting them know that you'll be attending the meeting remotely from cruise ship, Cancun or wherever.
Yeah, the cruise ship, yeah.
If
So then
anybody,
if you do attend, from a location that's not, open to the public, like let's say you attend from your, whatever,
Hotel room.
your, bedroom because you got COVID for the 5th time,
that's a different
Yeah,
story.
well,
like me,
Who has that kind of luck anyway?
yeah, just me. Then you can still be in there, but you don't count towards the quorum. But you may participate and vote if there's a quorum in the physical location,
And you have to have your camera on,
right?
and you have to use your first and last name physically placed on, where
On
people
that
can see
screen,
you.
like
Yeah.
plan B, it would not be any,
Like
with
12
Nate
up.
would be, but when Ed's up there, we'd have to say.
Mike, can I
Right.
ask for Nate?
Yeah.
Nate, are you there yet?
Nate wrote this, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hank, you there?
He's here too. Don't talk to him.
So is this our new video conferencing policy? We had done something in the past. Is this policy the things required by New York State?
Yeah. So the law you did pass, I think last year, and I had actually thought you had adopted a policy at the same time. And
I
it is
thought we had
kind of,
to.
Yeah, this came up that apparently the board had not adopted a policy because there had been a question for, I forget if it was the planning or zoning board about somebody attending remotely. And I said, well, you have to follow the policy. And then the clerk's office said, wait, we don't actually have a policy. And I said, okay, well, we got to get one adopted then. So this is basically based off of the model policy from the Committee on Open Government.
So you say this is a model policy, so this is what the state expects us to do, the things about 4 days and this and all that. That's not things we choose to do, that's the things they tell us we should do or must do. Okay. He shook his head, yeah. Hank shook his head. Nate, we can't hear you if you're talking to us. If you're talking to Hank, I think he's not talking to us. All right, so we thought we'd adopted a policy. Our policy was pretty much what the state told us to do anyways. Nate says this is either state requirement or the model policy. Is there something, I don't know if we even have a choice, if there's something in here somebody doesn't like, then we should adopt the policy.
Right, so if there's comments and things that might potentially be changed, I mean, you don't have to adopt it tonight. And we can look at requested changes and go through those.
Okay. Well, I guess the only suggested changes I see is number 8, removing the town of Windsor, which you said. Number 11, removing the town supervisor comment and changing it to something here.
It'd probably be me.
Yeah, I guess the mayor.
Mayor.
Yeah,
Equivalent
changing that to the
council
mayor.
Well, sure, yeah, we know we're gonna do that, yeah. No, I'm just saying,
Just
anything that
And
is
that
a
was
state,
not fixed yet.
us will be changed.
The other one, it does say village of Owego, so that's just.
So just, once again, without going too far, we had all that talk about there was extraordinary, there was emergency, remember we had all that stuff and it changed and this and that. So we assume this is now the up-to-date, emergency is gone, extraordinary is valid.
Well, right, and even 11 touches on that, right? It says in-person participation requirements of, whatever laws there will not apply during a state disaster emergency declared by governors pursuant to executive law 28 or local state of emergencies proclaimed by the mayor pursuant to, because that's who makes the state of emergency. Of the executive law, if the board determines the circumstances necessitating the emergency declaration would affect or impair the ability of the board to hold in-person meetings. So
That's our
11.
That's our
covers
extraordinary emergency.
It covers the COVID situation that nobody had prior to COVID.
Move we adopt the video conferencing policy as presented
I second.
with appropriate changes of
Which actually the only one really is that town supervisor to mayor.
and the Windsor,
Windsor's already fixed it.
any changes that are not specific to us that need to be changed.
Okay, and number 10.
That's after you seconded that, right?
Laura second.
Thank you.
I thought, well,
No, I'm sorry.
it talks about the Americans with Disability Act. Would that apply for remote locations also, or only for here?
Well, it would apply for the software we're using probably. Which I assume it does. It has closed captioning and that.
What I think that doesn't apply for somebody in this building. That applies for somebody that wants to be on the tube doing it. And they have to be, if we're going to do it, using extraordinary circumstances, then we have to, and someone asks for it, we have to provide their ability, accommodate their ability to do it.
Okay.
And I believe it says, according to the provisions of POL 103A, so that means that's a state requirement. We're not doing it because that's what we want to do.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a state.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on the video conferencing policy? And yes, it would apply to all of the municipal boards, so zoning board, planning board, OHPC. Us, I don't know if I missed any.
Yeah, that says right in the first all.
Right.
Yep, all meetings of public bodies. Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
and yes. All right, next one is to set a public hearing for the discontinuation of a public street. So Nate could fill us in more on this, but this is a piece of land that we own up in the Halsted development. It was supposed to be a street that never has become a street, right?
This was something that brought up at the last
Right.
meeting.
Yeah. So the neighbors would like to purchase this piece of land.
At the end of Woodlawn Avenue, you go straight up.
I know it well.
There's an imaginary road, there's no road, it's the neighbor's yard. And they've been taking care of it 30 years, and they want it to be cleared, not a road, they want to split it between the neighbors.
Are they gonna purchase it?
Right.
Yeah, whatever it takes, yeah.
But right now, it's technically is a street, even though it's grass, looks like a yard.
Just looks like their yard.
There are SOPA branches off that circle up there. If we do this to one, is that gonna open up a can of worms for all the other neighbors as well? Close that completely off.
Well, this is no street.
There is no street there.
There's no,
There's no street.
there's little dead end.
No, it's
No,
not even.
no, it's not on the road, you wouldn't even know there's anything there.
Woodlawn Avenue ends at the top.
When the road turns, that's where the road should be, but there's nothing.
Bradley and Woodlawn.
At the very top, Bradley Street is the side street. It stops at Bradley. They're paved up to the corner there. And then in our law, for potential future development, whatever reasons, Woodlawn goes farther up. And I don't know how far it goes. Does anybody know that?
I don't.
Laura had these questions. I had these questions. I don't mind doing this. I'd probably like to just know a little bit more. How far does it go?
Well, I guess this is just setting the public hearing.
I don't like setting public hearings if we're not on board of what we're thinking about doing. I'm just telling you what I like. But how far does it go? Did it have a purpose? Is it something that has value if we decide to help develop the 19 acres next door, things like that? I get it what the neighbors want and stuff. Although it's winter and they're not going to take care of it right now. So I might like to know just a little bit more about how long it is. I know Laura was talking to me about that. Dave doesn't know much about it. None of us know much about it.
We can put it on the agenda for next time too. Check into it more.
I'd like to know a little more about it. And once again, it's okay, but I'm not a fan of setting public hearings when we don't know what we're doing. We set a public hearing when we know what we're doing and we've got a reason we're there. For me.
Well, that's fine.
Anybody else?
I agree.
Oh, I agree.
We'll keep it on the agenda.
Yeah, we need more details.
All right. Well, there's your warning. Check into it between now and next meeting, January 2nd. Motion to appoint new zoning board members. So, somebody else put this on here.
So I sent out to everybody, a letter of interest from a resident, Jackie Millar, who is interested in the position on the zoning board. And hopefully you all read it. So
And do we have a open seat?
We're not very good at paying attention to this stuff.
I'm not totally sure on what mechanics have gone through the office on a letter of resignation for the person who moved out of the village.
Mark, can I speak? Mark Tribuco, Sherry Zelinsky, Joyce Manti, who are the other two? Dick Van Hall. Who's the other one?
On the,
You're everybody.
on the
On the
zoning.
zoning.
No, yeah, we're not talking about planning.
Is it
We're talking
Richard?
zoning.
Is it Julie?
No, Julie's on zoning, George is on planning, George is on planning. Who's the other person on zoning? Do we have one?
Shane Taylor.
Shane Taylor.
Oh, that's right, yes.
He's our newer guy.
Yeah.
So we actually don't have a vacancy.
Well, so one of them moved out of town and so the chair had a conversation with her, because he'd been trying to track her down and she said she'd moved out of town.
Okay,
So I believe we may need to have a resignation
Yeah.
letter before we can,
and we need to figure out when their term expires.
yeah. So I don't think we're able to bring in a new member. However, we need to have planning and zoning meetings
Yep.
coming up. So everybody who's on them needs to show up or else we won't be able to do business.
Now they can do it virtually too.
Yeah.
They give 4 days notice.
Yeah, so they're really gonna need to know all those details about letting everybody know ahead of time if they're gonna be doing that. But they're also gonna need the quorum
In the room.
in the room, which won't be possible with, 4 people.
Well, right, they all can't be virtual.
Nobody can be virtual if there's only, 4 of 5 members showing up.
No, that's not
Right,
correct.
need 3.
No, they have to have a quorum of 3
Right.
of the 5 for a quorum in the room.
All right,
The quorum for us is different because we have 7.
So you would need 3 people here and 2 people on the computer, potentially.
yeah. So it might be iffy for us to have those meetings and we really need to have them for stuff to go forward for our regular projects and business, of construction things going on in the village.
Yeah.
This gets in the way of it.
It's the importance of these other boards, people
Yeah. So we're gonna need to work on getting that letter, for the zoning, but we also have the same situation on the, planning board.
Yeah.
So we need a letter of resignation from one of those members. And,
And at that point, if we had the letter of resignation and the terms, I'm pretty sure I can just appoint people to fill the terms until their seats come up again. That's board action, I think. Rusty.
To the best of my knowledge. The planning and zoning are different.
They are.
The zoning is in our code and charter, and the village board appoints the zoning and appoints the vacancy. The planning, I think you appoint and we approve, and on the appointment, the general appointment, and on the vacancy, you fill and we don't even approve. But that, I believe those are the differences. The idea that we need to know the term, yes, and yes, kind of, but suppose it works for the zoning and we decide on Ms. Millar and we vote to put her on there. She is by code, we don't have to say how long she's gonna serve because she's gonna serve the rest of the unexpired term. Now, we need to know it just because we need to pay attention to do it. But it doesn't have to be in the motion. She fulfills the unexpired term, however long that was, however many years that goes.
Right.
Okay, that's the play. The last piece, we need
The resignation.
to have someone contact Ms. Zelinski and probably Ms. Matai and ask them if they would, if they don't intend to serve, which it appears they don't. I mean, not, kind of aggressively, if you don't intend to serve, we need from you right now, a letter of resignation so that these
Yeah.
boards can.
And we have sent them letters about training, stuff like that.
Yeah, but this is a different thing. And I don't think these people intend to serve, so I can't imagine that they wouldn't be willing to do that. We need them to do that. As you might also recall, if they don't do that, we can't vote them out. When we looked this up in New York State law, I believe it had to go to a judge. There were significant things to remove one of these board members. So we need them to resign.
Oh, do they need to reside in the village? Residents of the village?
That's an whole other question.
But once
We don't
again,
know the answer to.
that doesn't mean that we necessarily, oh, well, we don't think you reside in the village, so we vote that you're not on there anymore. Once again, the New York State law makes it pretty difficult to remove one of these people.
And I don't know if that's actually a requirement, to be honest.
But once again, that gets into all that other legal mumbo jumbo. We need them to resign. We need them to do it now. So somebody needs to do that. To contact them.
Yeah, because we need to have some meetings.
And,
Of course,
and nobody here but you has the authority to do it. None of us have the
Yeah.
authority to do that. So,
So I don't know if we can do this one yet until we get a resignation.
So we need a,
So we'll get
Like
that.
you've been voluntold.
Always.
that being said, do many of the people on the board know this individual? Okay. I know her.
Does she live in the village?
Oh, yeah, she's Kevin Millar, ex-mayor's ex-wife, and she lives up on Main Street, and she's smart as a whip and wants to serve, and I would be highly recommended that we accept.
She's sitting right here.
That's not her.
Pardon us for our ignorance.
I didn't even know. I didn't even see it. I didn't pay attention. Forget that, her hat won't fit. Would you like, does somebody, I don't know, I'm just trying to get ahead of the game to be ready if we do get the resignation. You want-
Yeah, well, and
Shall we
look
talk
at-
about her in front of her?
Sure.
Crap, I should have said bad things.
I already did. You know.
Oh, I do know.
looking at her
I wasn't even
credentials,
paying
really,
attention.
right?
My wife's
You know,
over her
I
house
know
taking care of her
she's
cats right
not
now.
Qualified for the job.
I think most of us knew it besides you, Rusty.
I didn't even look. I don't even know who's in this room.
Clearly.
My computer.
Sorry. There she is.
So we can't vote on that until we get the resignation of the other lady.
I'm just trying to get our consensus so we can be prepared if.
I don't think we can overfill.
No,
the
I
place.
would vote yes. I mean, looking at the credentials. Anybody that's interested, we need
Foolish enough to do all that
board
hard work.
members.
I know, right? All right, so we'll get that resignation and we'll do that.
so soon, so expect this
Take
maybe
care of
at the
that,
next
Mike,
board
right?
meeting.
Yeah, probably January 2nd.
I mean, somebody's got to get aggressive with the getting of the stuff.
Send out our henchmen.
Yep.
Unofficial.
You got Joyce on, you gotta get her on.
I know, right? Who got them on? Who talked them into it?
You're it.
All right, next thing, storage containers. Did you guys meet with Nate and hammer that out?
We did, I haven't seen, someplace here is this new, I just got it, this new,
So are you ready to set the public hearing yet? It's gonna be year of 2024 if we do it.
yeah, we can't do it before that anyways.
Amending the code to add chapters 171 entitled storage containers. That's what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking about. We've been kicking this around a while. I know Rusty and Laura were supposed to meet with Nate, and I think that happened.
Yeah, we did.
So we're ready to put this out to the masses and have a public hearing.
Didn't look like we had it, central business district.
You have an old copy. Do you have a second copy?
There's two.
Okay, yeah, there's two copies. One's the old one's.
Why is there always two copies of everything?
Yeah.
And the new copy is 10 minutes ago. One of the changes
That's when we go up.
one of the changes that was requested on the storage container law, I don't know who has old, who has new, was that in the old one, it said residential zone a residentially utilized property, and the new one, I believe we were gonna add central business district.
Yes, it does.
Right, yes.
Central business.
You have,
So it does say that somewhere.
you have one in red.
It's got red, no, this is what was in my box.
See, it does say central business district, right? Red.
I don't have that.
Like somebody had it.
Oh, Maybe, you might have another packet though.
Yeah, red
Yeah,
print
yeah.
on the.
I got this morning.
A minute ago. I don't know when we printed this out, before the meeting. Let's see, it says central business.
I believe you.
Windsor.
Whatever did you watch?
The central business district of Windsor, yeah.
And I look at somebody's red copy. Here.
Just give it back to me.
Rodney just wants it back. That's his comment.
Since we spent hours looking at this, I'd kind of like to know what's in central business
The
district.
red should be.
Okay, we had changed,
The red should be what you're talking about.
we changed about printing a sign on it. We had changed about central business district. We had changed pricing from the old copy, which you'll see in the red. And we had changed the number of days you could have it. Yeah. We had, because I don't know who read the old one and what they know, so if you've got the new one with the red, maybe that'll explain everything. We had changed, if we have to take it out of there ourselves, we were gonna charge $250, now we're gonna charge whatever it costs to move one of those big things. Instead of just whatever that number was. Variance that, the public works director could do things for a variance, and we changed the wording on that. That, what he should take into account,
Permits are 60 days.
60 days instead of
Yeah,
30.
that's not about
So is
that.
that 90 days?
60 days was as long as you could have one, you could have it twice in a year.
Oh, okay.
You could have one for 60 days, you could have it for another 60 days immediately, but you couldn't have it for a
120 days.
long time. And there was another little piece that I don't remember what we did with it. It was about, it was about somebody getting a permit, a building permit and having the container there.
Prior notice.
What, do you remember where that was, Laura?
Let me think about that for a sec.
Those other exemptions.
Okay. Let's see,
Oh, I see,
so,
I'm fine right here. Up here, there. I didn't find it.
What is it dealing with?
I'm leaving so I find out.
It was,
You have, is it about the director of public works shall provide,
sorry, once again, this document.
is that it?
Oh, here we go, 171, it's on second page, 171-7 exemptions. It's B, container placed on private property during the specific period of time that a valid building or demolition permit remains in force, and the container is used for the containment or disposal of materials. Remember, I didn't like that. The ticket there is, you can get a building permit for a year or two. It costs $25.
Right.
It costs you $200 to get a storage container permit as per this thing. And you can have it for 60 days. If you're a clever little puppy, you'll get a building permit for $25 and have it there for a year or two. So I didn't like that language, that if you have a building permit, you could have it for next to nothing, and you could have it for an incredible length of time. I don't know what I wanted. I wanted it to be more restrictive than that. But we didn't change that.
So what we did say about that was that those storage containers have to be used specifically for construction materials,
building materials, like for the storage of the building materials or the storage of the building waste materials
That's what it's supposed to be done.
solely. And that our code and DPW can look and inspect what's in any containers. So if those people are pretending to using like abusing the system by getting a building permit to store storage containers for for anything other than their actual building permit purposes and building materials, then they're not actually
They're in
following.
violation.
Violation.
Yeah, so it's a violation. Yeah.
I didn't want to talk about this much because I didn't want to give a couple of people any ideas about how to beat this system.
We'll figure it out anyway.
I think that's going to be a problem, that particular piece. I think it's going to be a problem for our one storage container that we have right now.
It might.
Because somebody could decide to do whatever they want to do, and I just don't want to move that, and maybe somebody already does that, and they're not going to move it, and they're going to play every game they can play. But, whatever. Okay.
All right, so are we ready to have a public hearing?
Yeah, because the public hearing
Right.
somebody can complain about that.
That's right. Public hearing doesn't mean it's passing.
How about the rest of you folks? Are you satisfied with the law if you've read it? Yeah. Laura and I were reasonably satisfied.
I'm satisfied to a public hearing point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're close. Yeah, we're there. If we don't have the exact detail of every tiny detail, we're pretty much there.
This will get reprinted
Yes,
and available for the public.
yes, it'll be on the website.
Our agenda for the first meeting in January, is it big, huge? Should we do it then?
I'm not sure we can get it in the paper because the courier only does
Oh,
a
it's
limited edition in December. So
The what, the
I
courier?
don't think we can do it the first meeting.
Because courier can't get it to the.
They don't publish all the papers in December.
I would think we could do it the second meeting.
So that would be-
Is Martin Luther King Day the 16th? When is it?
15th.
Yeah, so it'll be a Tuesday.
It'll be the
It'll be a
16th.
Tuesday, and it'll be the 17th.
16th. Martin Luther King Day is 15th.
15th.
It'll be the 16th.
Will we have a public hearing for the local law number, whatever the number is for?
Will be number one.
Yeah, it's gonna be-
No, number one for 24. We'll be having a public hearing, local law number one, storage containers on January.
On the second
16th.
meeting of January.
Yep, January
January
16th at 7 PM.
For the public hearing.
We got a second for that puppy?
Second.
Any other discussion? This is about the public hearing. Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Dave. Yes. Fran,
Yes.
Charles.
Was that again?
16th.
Yes.
Yes. Tuesday, yes. Next thing is transfer, $282,545.37 from a revenue account to state aid.
And that's the money that that's our first check we got back from the DRI that we sent out in May.
That we asked for in May.
About
Yeah.
time.
And that's gonna go back into the general fund.
June, September, October, November, December.
That's why we can't float this.
Yeah.
We still have $1 million out there, so we're getting back this.
After this, we still got $1 million.
We're not quite,
Yeah, close.
close to it.
So we got a motion to transfer the money.
Second. You're first.
Charles is making it.
Second.
Any questions? Okay. Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Fran?
Yes.
Charles? Yes. And yes. Charles, and then Rusty. Treasurer's report, everyone get it? Sure. You have any questions about it?
I still question, the bank statements, I might have got to here. I mean, why, is there, on these 3 cemetery accounts, there's no beginning balance on them? I mean, whether there's any activity or not, there should be beginning and ending balances.
Which one doesn't have?
The, Doris Edwards account, perpetual care account, and the cemetery headstone repair account.
I don't.
Yeah, the two of them have to be split out.
Well, I mean, you don't have, you did already split out the,
We just didn't.
the money from the, perpetual care fund, but that was done in September. And so there's still no beginning balances for the past couple of months.
We'll take care of that.
Okay. And, I don't, excuse me a second, I don't know where to put, here it is. Okay, the capital reserve fund, the, capital reserve fund,
For which,
it gets confusing because these are all mixed together out of order. 3810,
oh, EMS,
why is there no interest earned on that?
good question.
Why is, I mean, we've got several other accounts down here too. Got,
Not all of these accounts can get interest. There's certain accounts, the way that they're done, they cannot get interest. I'll check that for you.
yeah, got the sewer plant, or no, not sewer plant, excuse me, this, CSBA 4512. I mean, that's not earning any interest either. Why, I mean, I'm just wondering why these aren't invested in something.
I will get you that answer.
I mean, we've got money that we should be earning.
I mean, some of the other reserve accounts are getting interest, something to look into.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll let you know.
Yeah, but
Okay, I know
we
there's
should
some,
not have money sitting idle. It's not
there's some that they just don't, they won't give us interest. Just the type of accounts. In and out.
Reserve
Or they let their checking account?
Yeah, there's sort of.
reserve accounts, you probably heard.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be making interest, should it not?
Yeah, you would think.
Reserve account?
Should
Should
be
be
like a
invested in something.
savings account, yeah. We're not withdrawing very often.
I think that's one of those in and out checking.
Yeah, let's check.
I will,
Okay.
I'll get you a good detail.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Then we got it,
I'll move it.
looking at it.
I'll move.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion on the treasurer's report? Rusty? Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Brian?
I'm not gonna vote.
Charles?
Yes.
And yes. Whenever you guys want a detailed look at it, probably next week. As far as budget wise. All right, minutes.
For the minutes of the November 6th meeting, I sent my corrections, and then we were holding off. And I guess what was going on was like there was something that maybe said it got tabled, but it wasn't.
Okay.
So I don't know if that got changed, maybe it did.
I think it did. I
Okay.
think the rest is okay.
I just asked you, in every minute, if we haven't taken an action, don't say that we
Right,
tabled.
just no action.
Just no
Okay.
no action. Thank you.
Okay, so then I motion that we approve the November 6th meeting minutes now
Second.
that those have been, with those changes. Thank you, Rusty.
Wait a second.
I did.
Rusty,
Okay,
second,
Rusty.
yeah.
Okay, any other comments on November 6th? Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes,
Lee, yes, Brian,
Yes.
Charles? Yes. Ian, yes. Now we got December 4th.
December 4th, I motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? Rusty,
Abstain.
Laura,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Is it gonna pass if I abstain? Is it gonna pass if I abstain?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so I
We
abstain.
have
So I was
four.
here. Otherwise,
I do have one thing. Nate sent a note about the cannabis, letter. So we,
Oh, yes,
we
so we-
sent a letter already.
We did send a letter asking
We
for
did,
the,
yeah.
for the.
But I
for the
don't
30
see
days.
where in the minutes that you made a real motion to send a letter. You guys discussed it, but he wants, I think Nate would explain it. I think he wants you to.
He wants us to have approved that.
well, no, to do a motion to
Just-
ask for the 30-day specifically, because we did ask for it. but-
Yeah, I've already done it, and sent it in, we got it aside, but if Nate would answer, I think he
Move,
wants.
we ask the Cannabis Control Board for a 30-day extension on our ability to chime,
Chime in when
Yes.
everyone's
yeah,
on.
to,
I'll
for a
second
30-day
that.
extension on.
As a back note, we have done it. so. Rusty?
Did we get a second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
And yes.
We've done it, and we got a reply back.
We already got a reply to that?
Yeah. No, it was an email thing. It was pretty.
That's good.
Not for the board. from the-
So we got the 30-day extension.
Yeah,
already?
We do, yeah. But, I mean, we still need to figure out what to tell them, but yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if we got it. And I don't.
Right, except they received it. Trustee reports. Rusty? Later. Yeah, we'll come back to you. Laura? Really got a list.
I don't have a list created.
Okay.
We are still waiting to find out when the last, the hazard mitigation planning updates meetings will be.
Okay.
But there's, so much work that we're getting into it to get it ready, so we needed the extension.
Okay.
So we will let you know when that is. We're going to be moving the dates of when we have the climate smart communities task force meetings, but we haven't settled on what date exactly to put that out for the announcement.
Okay.
For next year. There's a number of projects that we're concerned might need permits or variances for where they are. And some people in current construction projects, I'm kind of concerned that they might need to know sooner than later that there might be an issue because they, if they need to redesign or, whatever, they need to know ahead of time that
there's a problem, you know, just to see, you know.
Oh, yeah, more notice the better.
Where is this?
Yeah, well, 80% of the village is in floodplain, right? So it's a lot of our projects, that we just want to make sure that that their elevations are, that it's okay to be building what they're building there, and they don't need to have some extra floodproofing or things. And some of them might need to. And so we do know that we need our planning and zoning boards to meet to go over these variances and permits. And we might need to line up a whole bunch of people to go through it all at once, because we'll need the state also involved, because they do one set of the variances and then we have our local variances. It's like it's like a process, and the state has to do their part, we have to do our part. So we kind of need to, I think we need to let these people know that there's a problem coming, you know, that's going to be some time to solve. And it's going to be really annoying to people, you know, just because, you know, it's time and money and delay and all.
Yeah, well, we've had that experience numerous times where
Yep.
they come up with plans and we say, no, it ain't gonna work because of this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Like
yeah, we
maybe-
need to avoid that.
Maybe the steamer house. You know, there's all kinds of things that are like currently in construction that maybe we can get to before they, you know, if they need to change something, we don't want them to expend money, you know, and then have to change it.
Yeah.
What about the power source? Because they don't have any power going to that building.
Well,
Is there something
they
that can be
will,
done?
because they, you know, they want to have that perpetual fire. They're going to have lighting and stuff, and so.
Because right now, as it stands, he's getting the power from the station, which keeps getting unplugged for some reason.
Yeah, I was supposed to bring that up.
Mike, might I? I spoke to the chief today. Of course, yeah, somebody that has a key to the station is in the station unplugging the power sources. They're trying to work on stuff or whatever. And the chief has put stuff around the thing with signs that say, firemen, don't touch this. This is authorized. That's what has happened so far to try and take care of that.
Okay, that's good. But yeah, we know we do need those boards to meet, because there is a whole process there with variances and between us and the state, especially like even for our own projects like the bathrooms. We're gonna try and get a variance there to wet floodproof instead of dry floodproof, because it just makes no sense to spend $50,000 to protect a $5,000 electrical panel.
It is currently close to, like, you know, over in the park there's a lot of water. Like, it's just the rainwater there. The flood water hasn't gotten there. Like, you know, 4 o'clock it hadn't reached over there. But the spot where we're building the bathrooms isn't raised up high enough to, like, you know, a flood would come over the ceiling of anything that we're building. We didn't raise it up to keep it out. Like, we didn't even try to keep it out. So
Honestly, it's just
Replacing it, that's.
the bathroom is made to be hosed out and bleached and whatever, so it's not like a big risk, but.
well, we have to apply for the variance to have a building designed like with that design there, and we haven't done that yet. And so we can't build it without the approval first.
Right, so that approval is our boards along with the state has to approve for the floodplain development permit. So there's a whole process.
Yeah, I don't know about them
it doesn't seem like they're gonna approve us building something knowingly underwater. Like, they could approve us building something a little bit higher up with flood vents, but as is, the current design, the light switch would have to be 10 feet up above the floor that they poured. Because it's so low in the park with its, with the elevation that that the engineers gave.
That's between the engineers and the boards. That's not our problem right now. Besides, we're gonna have to pay for whatever the change is.
Right, but it's like a $600,000 bathroom. I just don't see them allowing us to build it knowing it's gonna flood. Like, I can see them asking us to raise it up, a few feet and have a ramp, so it's accessible, just like our pool building is way several feet up higher than this. And the building next door is Weitzman's. You can see how high that the utilities got raised up on that, and it's a good 12 feet higher than where our bathroom is getting built. So, we would just be building this thing completely underwater. I don't see how anybody's gonna say that's okay.
The engineer seems to think that we'll get the variances. But we'll see where it goes.
Variance for what?
To not
Raise it.
Right, not raise it, to have the flood vents, and to leave the electrical panel and the hot water heater where it is. Because, so if we build a second story on it and put the electrical panel and the hot water heater in the second story, basically to bring it up BFE +2, they're talking $50,000 to $60,000. The electrical panel and the hot water heater cost $5,000 combined. So we can completely replace them 10 times before we make our money back.
That's 5 floods we have.
But if it doesn't fit in with our flood mitigation plan.
So we need a variance from our board, our local board, and the state level to say that it's okay.
And we'd also need to get reimbursed from the state for the project that,
Right.
So we'd be trusting that they would say that it's okay for us to have knowingly gotten all these variances to build something under.
Rusty?
We're not building something underwater. We've had 2 floods that have gone, 2006 and 2011, in the last 80 years, that have done enough of that fairgrounds to get not over the top of that thing to get anywhere there. So I'm just not saying that we don't have to abide by certain rules about basic flood elevation +2, but it's absurd for us to have to do anything BFE +2 in that fairgrounds. Once again, at the building we're going to build will be just fine. It's not going to displace water onto somebody else's property. It's not going to do any of those things, and it's going to be a block building that will survive just fine. So as you said, we'll ask for a variance with the idea that we're gonna have $5,000 worth of potential loss there.
And it's the same block building we took down a month ago.
But of course, that is true. Once you take it, once you do it, we already know that, once you change it, now you're following all those new different rules. That stinks.
Had we just gutted that one out, put new toilets in it or whatever, we'd be fine.
We could have actually afford to do some other things.
Yeah. We got a bathroom that you could build a house cheap. Nice house, real nice house. And now we might not even be able to build it at all. You have to be pissing on the ground.
But Rodney and I think, figured out that we could rent a number of porta-johns for 1,000 years for that.
600,000, we can rent a lot of porta-johns.
For 1,000 years, we could have porta-johns.
That's a good idea.
I like it. They just float away.
Yeah, well, if you remove them in the
Down the
fall,
river. See you later.
the owners take them back and.
It's a good idea. Let's do it.
bring them back in the spring.
We'll be over by
What?
the baseball fields by the dike. It'll be fine.
Point taken, back,
Because you can put them in the, get some storage containers.
Yeah, right, storage containers.
point taken about that, but Laura needs to finish her.
We have to get a building permit so we can keep one in a couple of years.
Back to Laura.
Anyway.
Laura needs to
Sorry,
finish her
Laura.
report.
Okay, we had a meeting, Julie Nucci and I had a meeting with, the DAC about the Climate Smart Communities grant budget. So that's so much closer. But about that, the state is changing their grant system. They're moving away from the grants gateway and moving to the statewide financial system. So they're doing training sessions and stuff like that. And so those will be happening over the next couple months. And so we have to wait for all of that to go through before we can submit our budgets, because like this is like the new system that they're gonna use and the new metric that they use to approve budgets and grants and stuff. And so it's all in process in the very beginning. We're the first applicants to ever do it. So there's nothing to model from. And
It's easier because that other system is horrible.
yeah, so like, every nonprofit and all our municipalities like use that system, just it's for protection to make sure everybody's like viable, and it's a hard thing. But anyways, it's gonna change, and everything's just taking longer than we thought, but we're not behind. We're just still pushing along as fast as we actually can go, and it just feels like we're behind because it takes so long. But it's just a slow government process.
As usual.
Yeah.
This training program for the new grant writing system, is that gonna be in person, online?
It's a Zoom thing, I think.
Yeah, Zoom.
Now, is it gonna be available to all of the board members
Well,
and other persons that are writing grants?
The other person's writing grants for sure, like we have somebody from the clerk's office attending.
so what they did put out to us was like an invitation, and then they put out notice for like the people who will be approving the grant, that they, because of capacity, they're not allowed to attend the training, that they're gonna watch the recordings. So it's kind of we kind of wanna get it, join the Zoom meeting early in case they meet capacity and stuff. And so it might be, by interest in people who are eager to know the system getting in first.
Like I've had to use the other system and it's a pain. I have like 3 logins for different stuff. I never know what it is. I always have to call help desk. They always have to help me. It's not fun.
Yeah, well, we need to know that I would be interested in sitting in on that, and I'm sure Peter Gordon would also. He writes many of the grants for the village and for the cemetery. Works with the county people.
Yep. Yeah, nobody in all those classes and stuff too.
Do you have any dates on those yet?
I was in an email. I couldn't tell you when they are.
They're spaced out over like a month and a half or so.
Do they start in January?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to find the email.
Peter,
Mayor Peter might have had something to say.
Could you forward that email with the dates? Because
Yeah.
I volunteered to help the village write.
Yeah, and it's just a new portal the state's using, but you have to load all your junk into there. And then I have to sign in and sign it. It's a mess.
Yeah.
The old system is a mess, let's put it that way. Hopefully this one's new. The old one, I had to sign a grant and I couldn't find it. People at the help desk couldn't find it. They
Got
found
lost
it,
in
but,
the system, huh?
they found it, but then, I don't know, it was a whole thing. Took me 3 days to sign a grant for $4,000.
Okay, so I guess that's all that was on my mind of the things that, oh, I am still working on the Jake Breaks law. Time kind of runs away from me with it a little bit, so I am working on it still.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, that's it.
Dave?
Okay, just an update, just a brief update, without too much detail. We're still in the midst of the police negotiations, between the village and the Owego Police Department. That's ongoing with some movement, in both directions. So our next meeting with that's gonna be January 5th. The lighting on the bridge looks amazing going south until you get across the bridge. Then you are in a dark abyss of nothingness. Where do we stand on the lighting issues over there?
They're still figuring that out.
Hand out flashlights.
Yeah, flashlights.
It's outright dangerous. You're going across the bridge, it's nice and bright, well lit, and then it's like you're walking into a dark room.
But it's pretty cool for OPD because they sit there, you don't see them, you come off the highway.
Yeah,
All right, so
Sit quietly.
anybody crossing that intersection over there is,
Yeah, no, I'll get a better update Friday,
okay, yeah, that's really concerning.
but I know they're working it.
All right. And other than that, we got 4 business days left to shop, people. Shop local, shop downtown Owego. This is a nice shop. We have a very gifted area here. Lots of unique gifts. So take advantage of the local Christmas shopping. And have a Merry Christmas. That's all I have.
Fran?
Okay,
Buy a book, right?
well, it's almost 6 years now that I've been commissioner of the Evergreen Cemetery. And, in those 6 years, the village board has never budgeted any money for work that needs to be done in the cemetery. We have roads there that are in horrible shape. I mean, some of those potholes, they're gonna take up a tractor one of these days. I mean, seriously, it's really bad. You know, in the 6 years, the village has come up with, I think it was $10,000 to match for the, landscape architect report.
Yep.
And, we had, money that was, dug up someplace to cut down some of the trees up there in the cemetery.
Right.
But other than that, everything else has been grants. We tried to get a $250,000 grant from the casino to do paving, and that did not come through. We've got to get serious about taking care of the dead trees in the cemetery and the paving. You come down, I mean, people go up there all the time. You come down that hill from Sasana, potholes are really great. And the entrance road, I mean, you cannot drive straight. You've got to go over here and over there in order to get into the cemetery. So we need to start seriously thinking about it. Couple of ideas is, okay, we have, well, at one point in time, we had $150,000 in, it's called the Evergreen Cemetery CD. Now, we did use half of that money to do some drainage work up there. Now, we've kept that aside under the assumption that would go towards some of the paving. But as you know, we've seen with the DRI, blacktop is very expensive.
Yeah, not even the
And
DRI.
just to fix that road coming down from Sasana and the entrance is gonna be somewhere around 250,000.
Probably. I mean, West Ave, when we milled and paved that, was that last year, year before? Was $80,000.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and there's other roads up there in the cemetery that need some attention too, but those are critical. So, we do have, a, fund called the Evergreen, Cemetery, Perpetual Care Fund, which currently we have, $219,000 in. What I would like to recommend is that, depending on how we figure it out with DPW and, you know, taking money out of some of these other funds, I'm proposing that we borrow from that perpetual care fund and plan on an annual basis to repay with interest. You know, so say we needed 150,000, that's just figured. You know, so you divide that out over 5 years and with interest, I mean, this is something that would have to be included in the budget since it's been put off for so long. I mean, this is something that we're gonna need to talk about a lot more. I'm just bringing it up here this evening. It would be nice if we could, you know, make some motion on this by spring. Everybody like a copy of that? And we also, I've got more copies. Need a couple more? Just need one? Take one, okay. So this is just proposing this evening, and like I said, over the next few months, we need to get serious about how we go about doing this. And then the other really critical thing up there in the cemetery is the dead trees that keep falling on the headstones, causing more damage. And we have set aside that $100,000 in the Doors M. Edwards Trust, and we're taking interest off of that every year to work on headstones.
Right.
But I propose that we also take a loan against some of that in the trust and repay annually with interest to go towards headstones. I'll give you each a copy. Yeah, we'll talk about it some more in the next few months.
I don't know if we can take loans off of funds like that.
Well, we need to talk about it with Nate some more. I mean, he had said before that it's possible when the village needs to borrow money to borrow from some of these funds.
That'd be nice.
So, at any rate, that's all I got to say.
We're waiting for the results from the Army Corps of Engineers study for all of the flow of the water that comes down the hill and stuff, and it includes the cemetery and any retention ponds and any analysis that they have for, you know, reinforcing and establishing, you know, like different, like they're gonna let us know what our best options are and what our risks are so that we can decide what to do. And I think once we have that information, we're gonna know better about how to go about reinforcing the roads from, you know, the erosion and like, you know,
they're gonna give us information on ditches and rerouting. And I think we need to wait to have that information so that we can have a plan to act on. And then, because we're including it in the plan, we'd have access to money to do the repairs. You know, if they go along, you know, with, helping save us downhill, you know, in the course of water. So like we're setting ourselves up to be able to have money to fix it, you know, with best knowledge. I think we sort of have to wait for that information to come so that we can know what roads to
I
repair how.
understand, yeah, and I agree. I mean, some of the roads up there can be resurfaced in more impervious materials.
Impervious
But
pavement is part of
those
the
two
recommendation.
steep roads have to be, you know, a solid type of material.
So Peter sent all the old reports that they had. The Soil and Water Department had a report about the ditches and about different things from years ago, that it needed a whole lot of work then. And we've had like severe storms and incidences since then, and it's changed. So we're gonna have more updated, but like it's needed a whole lot of work for a long time, and we're gonna have
Yeah, if the Army Corps can help us on it, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
But
Meg has found the grant paperwork for the grant that we aggregated, and it had cost estimates. And so that's a third source of information. I haven't forwarded that yet.
Okay. Yeah. So like once we know like sort of all that information that was already gathered and the prices they had to get, like that's going to be like this whole set of identified things that they're going to, you know, look at and go further with. So
yeah, no, I agree. But we've got to start being serious about maintaining the cemetery. Like I said, those trees are bad. And right now, we're just a matter of one falls, we cut it up. That doesn't prevent it from falling on some of these very expensive headstones.
I have to agree that there's a major study that needs to be done. That's where most of our rainwater comes down and feeds into our underpass system there. First thing that floods.
Yeah.
Drainage systems and the like. I mean, the last time I've been up there, did I own that Hummer? That was a long time ago. And I was scared driving up there with that. Because like you said, coming past Sasana, look over that edge.
Yeah, we did put the guardrail up there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know that, because I was scared that time. I wasn't gonna ride that ride.
It's a little safer
Yeah.
now.
It is? Take your word for it.
yeah, there's been guardrails and tree trimming and a little bit of paving added, you know, more within this last year.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was some grant money, yeah.
yeah.
Peter?
Yeah, I had talked to Fran about this, and the motion she's making is, we need to evaluate the ability to take money from these funds. And it is acceptable in the cemetery, the not-for-profit cemetery laws, but that you can take a certain amount of that money and pay it back with interest. But we're not a not-for-profit, we're a municipal cemetery.
Right.
So we may be able to take more of it. And
Could be.
that money would allow us to match whatever grants. So we're sort of starting early. I think we'll probably have to evaluate the legality of it. But just to make sure we have that money available if and when we get substantial grants, because it will take a lot of money.
Right. And
But the
also-
trees are not that big, I mean,
They're not as
$30,000 or
expensive as.
$40,000, but it's not outrageous amount that the paving's gonna be.
Yeah, no, the paving will be a lot. Something to look
Thank
into.
you.
Anything else? Charles?
Let's see. First of all, Fran, your nails look nice.
Oh, thank you.
They're very festive.
Festive.
I don't have anything other than, we have dates for the next OSHA training coming out. And that's, Sunday, January 14th and Saturday, February 17th. If anybody's interested in taking OSHA, that normally takes OSHA. Breakfast, starts at 8 a.m. and classes start at 9 a.m. These classes also online, but, people like to get together, socialize.
You have any CPR schedule?
CPR training is 7 p.m. That's January 30th at the training facility.
7 a.m.?
7 p.m.
Yeah, thank you.
Till 7 a.m.
Staying alive.
There's a new song now.
Oh, there is?
It was, yeah. That's all I got. I mean, we already touched upon DPW and that's all I got to say about that.
Mary? Rusty, should we come back to you?
Sure, same old lectures about money, and we don't have any, and ARPA money that we don't have nearly enough of, and the money for this, and the money for 90 Temple, and the money for COPS grants, et cetera, and whether or not, how badly do we need, can we afford a dump truck? Because Fred says that we're gonna be in trouble this winter, and so that's another thing we need to be thinking about. And then also a piece of that thinking about is maybe, maybe the sewer department needs another dump truck. They might need another dump truck. They might have to park it somewhere. Probably there's not good places to park it over. They might have to park it over here.
They're the only ones who have money to purchase a truck.
I like the way you're
say
saying
that. I didn't say any of that.
Space is tough over there.
That's it.
A place to hang the keys.
That's right. All right. That's everything for me.
Might not fit through the top.
Yeah, probably won't.
What's the sewer department thinking about that?
No, that was just that was just a side piece of the money, and
Yeah.
keep thinking about that, about vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I'm done, Mike.
All right. Communications,
Before you jump there, I have a question.
All right.
It came to my head. It was just out of curiosity, after trying to sleep this past week, or for the whole last couple of months, is there a rule against roosters being in town, in the village?
No, but there needs to be, if the person's subject to try and make an animal law would get off his butt and make that law, and we'd pass it. We can make a chicken and rooster law.
Well, chickens, they lay eggs, but roosters? I used to think they only
The
made noise
animal
to wake
law-
you up in the morning.
An animal law would cover all those things.
Yeah.
You want some? My neighbor does.
No, I already have this one that, once you hear it, you can't not hear it, you try to.
Right,
get
there's
it.
neighbor.
No, I think it's closer to blank.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
There you go, see? I don't know how people that live closer to
There's
this
one
rooster can
right
sleep.
about on the corner of Page and East Temple, and then there's another one down Page Street.
Wow.
There's
that's
nothing
always-
worse than a young rooster learning how to crow. Nothing worse.
The classes are not sticking because this keeps going.
Somebody be having a fried chicken dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Too much gas.
All day long.
So let's see if we can get that whoever was assigned, a lazy guy to get after the animal.
He has a blue shirt on.
Yeah, get after the animal law and get working on the,
Yeah,
an updated animal law for many different things in the village.
I'm serious, it's no
Yeah.
joke.
No, it's correct.
Young boys will be young boys.
Oh, what's worse is the one on Page Street,
when the wind
talking to the one on East Temple,
Oh, that's what they doing?
all day long, back and forth.
They got to talk to each other.
Gotta get like cell phones or something.
In the summertime when the sun.
They're giving each other hints on how to pick up chicks.
We'll get some cell phones.
Mayor, you got anything?
All right, mayor's report, I don't have a ton. COVID for the 5th time. That's been my life the last couple of weeks.
You did say DRI update, there was nothing significant this last Friday that we,
Correct, yeah, they're still just churns and junk. We are gonna have a little Christmas party at the office Friday.
Oh, yeah.
the Christmas lunch.
Can we bring out spouses as significant others, or just?
Bring a rooster.
Bring a couple roosters. Did you sign up by the 15th?
That's what I just remembered now. That you made that.
That's why those deadlines are there.
Yeah.
I'll say plenty of
Rooster alarm.
Bring a rooster, we can eat that.
How do they taste? They taste like chickens.
All right, public comment.
This may have been covered elsewhere, but I had talked to several EMS members, and the question came up whether it would be cheaper to build a new station for them. And is that sort of grant funding more available than rehabilitation grant? And then to sell the existing fire station with a preservation codicil.
I was asked that same thing.
Would it be cheaper than what?
Right.
To build a new fire station.
And then what?
Cheaper than what?
Than rehabbing the
The old one.
existing building.
We're gonna put the roof on the existing building because it has to be put on.
Yeah.
But I guess what I meant is it easier to get a grant to build a new building?
Another
It
location.
is not easy to, no, it is not easy to get a grant for $4 or $5 million to build a new building.
We have been investigating some of that as far as.
We would love to do it. Excuse me.
It'd be nice.
Okay, well, this is with the grant training. I'm happy to help however I can. I'm not an expert.
Oh, no.
We looked at a little bit.
That's a good question. I was asking the same question.
No, it's not my building. I'm just asking. What I would love would be Peter Cottontail, the grant writing bunny trail guy, to, if he had the time and energy to find us a $4 or $5 million grant,
We'd be all.
we'll name the damn station after him. We would love this.
Well, no,
But I'm just saying, no, we would love anybody, any way, anyhow, to explore that, to do that. We'll do it in whatever ways we can.
the issue is finding the target. I mean, I can write something, but
Yeah.
I don't know where.
Where does it go?
Somebody has
And
land.
and I know, I mean, I have the town-village conflict,
Sure.
but I know the town is raking in these grants for culvert repair and similar things. And I think they're there. If
We've looked in the right place, it's probably true.
Yeah, well, if we could find a location in the village that is higher ground, so that, I remember with the hazard mitigation, we could get some grant money too, if we bring it up above the flooding.
When I was speaking to Ed Mann and,
Ed McMahon?
Ed Mann, not Ed McMahon.
You don't have the big
He
dollars.
doesn't, yeah,
Here's Johnny.
publishing clearance. He said, you know Ed, right? Ed Mann?
Yeah, I know.
He's on fire, yeah. He said they have the land.
Where?
I don't know, that question didn't come up in our conversation. But he says it's out of the flood zone.
He says they have the land. Who's they?
Meaning the fire station, I don't know who's affiliated with, what he knows about what land.
This land over here.
I don't know, like I said, I didn't ask exactly where.
Charles?
But he said,
No, go ahead. I'm gonna say something in a minute when you're done.
okay, yeah, he said, well, I'll quote him, he said, putting it up for sale, the other one put up for sale, and use the money to build a new station, and that would be a dream. We have the land already for it, out of the flood zone, and that's where that went. That's
So
what he said.
some of us have gone over this village in the last number of years, since 2011, other things. And chapter and verse, looked at every single possible piece of land and place where you might be able to do that. And he's probably referring to the piece of property that the fire station owns where the training facility is, and the rest of that piece as you go towards the creek. That, not creek.
Along near the track.
That's probably what he's referring to. I'm just saying that's probably what he's talking about, but there are other places, and there's people looking at it, but that's not our. That's not our.
No, yeah.
It would have to happen, that's not the glitch. The glitch is
money.
the target and the money.
Part of the
We'll,
hazard mitigation,
we can find the land.
can
Oh, yeah.
is Julie gonna, is she talking to the people who would know?
She has the access to
Oh,
that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
Yeah, we've been getting presentations about the funding, brick funding and DTA funding and all the different funding sources that the government can use and the ways that we can get it for the projects. And yeah, all the massive ways. Yeah.
So I'm happy to take whatever time is necessary if somebody points.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
Last piece,
Thanks,
last
Jim.
piece. The hope and guesswork on this is that because we're a distressed community, because of the hazard mitigation, because we're the first in line model for all this CRS and stuff, because, and because our fire station is vulnerable, we might be, who knows, our hope is that we would be able to get a big old chunk of money to build us a station up out of our 80-90% floodplain. And that would be very valuable for this community with flood mitigation stuff. So that's the hope. We'll see.
And if we
How
can
it all-
put that on the tax rolls,
Yep.
the fire station.
We'll see how that all plays. Now, people keep talking about that, but the price you get for that fire station, if you sell it, is a few $100,000. It's not like you get $1 million or $2 million for that. But still,
That would be enough to pay an evergreen.
it would have, yeah.
And who's gonna buy it? Mr. Alex there who wants to turn it into a brewery and a restaurant, museum on the 3rd floor?
Well, that's interesting that you would say that because Mr. Alex just put close to $1 million of his own money into that building on North Avenue. He's the only guy that is putting his own money. What's that?
He's investing money.
He's putting his own money into fixing this village up. So, he's got some credibility.
He's got some crazy ideas too.
Well, yeah, but he also has credibility.
Don't we all?
Sometimes it takes crazy.
That's right. Never know. All right, anyone public comment? All right.
Move to adjourn.